Hello, it's TruthSOSeeker here, and I'm back with another 1v1 for you guys. I'm running Decimus, finally. This is actually my second game as Decimus, so I don't have that much experience with him yet. But just from the few games that I've played obviously more than two at the point that I'm making this recording, but I have seen like really good results with him, at least compared to when I was playing unsc. And I gotta say, I mean, just all the options that he has, they're really good. Like, it's really good. But okay, we're gonna start this game here. I knew generally what I wanted to go for, but I didn't know the specifics in terms of build order or when things should happen. So I was kind of just fiddling around with things here. But my general goal is locusts are still OP. Despite what people are saying, I mean, it is the meta, and people haven't found a way around it yet, so, I mean, you gotta pretty much just agree that it is overpowered if nobody can stop it right now. But I'm going to go Locust. If he tries to go something like Cyclops or hit early, I'm going to need to respond to that, so I don't necessarily think I could boom straight into Tech 2. Generally, UNSC prefer to go infantry, and as the counter to that, you need to try and go suicide grunts to try and counter. I think, just as a potential improvement, I could maybe build the raid camp on my main base. I built it on a mini base here in this game, but I honestly don't know if I like that so much, because, at least on this map, because I tried building it, I think, on the one in the middle, and he was able to deny that. And that forced me to build it on the mini base way to the right of my base. And I was having a lot of trouble trying to reinforce, as you'll see. So potentially building the raid camp as maybe the 5th building slot on your main could be a better option, because you're not going to be building double generator anyway. I think it's too risky personally. But yeah, you see I'm queuing up a pad. I was planning originally on just building some grunts to try and go for power nodes. I suppose this is okay. I see I'm trying to grab mini bases as well. I found it hard to really get going with the grunts though, because it does, I mean, I can only really start it, in my opinion, once you have all the buildings finished. I guess if you're not going double generator, I guess you could build them faster in that case, because something I've had a habit of is I'm used to going double generators, so I try not to build too many early units. Unless I'm only going single generator. But yeah, you see he shows up with 3 Marines. I go ahead and queue the raid camp because I was in the back of my head thinking, well, okay, it's only 3 Marines. Well, with 1 chopper, I'm probably not going to want to engage that, but if I could get like 2 or 3 grunts in the mix too, then I'd probably be okay trying to go after that. So you see I have grunts nearby, so that's what I'm thinking. Okay, I can go for that. See, he has another Marine show up now. Thinking about sending the chopper. I'm gonna grab that first, and then I'm gonna send it back. The reason I'm grabbing those other mini bases, by the way, is in the event that that one would fall. Just so you know, I have some sort of exterior to build upon besides my actual main. But yeah, I see he has flamethrowers now, and I'm realizing I can't hold that. So I go ahead and get a raid camp on my mini base at this point. But again, like I said, I'm really concerned now. You see I upgraded the supply pad and started building a turret because I realized, okay, he's going very heavy infantry and flamethrowers, so he's going to try and do some sort of push on me, very likely. So I'm going to need suicide grunts and turrets because otherwise my base is going to get utterly wrecked. I have some grunts here. I'm trying to clear out a power node or so, but while I still can. I'm assuming he's going to come to my main so I can get away with clearing that one out. I didn't upgrade that pad, and I guess I honestly should, or not pad, I didn't upgrade that turret right away, and my logic was that, okay, if he shows up, he's just going to aim it down immediately. I'd rather wait to see which angle he comes from to upgrade it. But honestly, this is more of an Atriox mindset, because, I mean, as Atriox, when you have fortifications too, the turret upgrades in like 5 seconds, so you can afford to get away with that. But, you see, I just tried to upgrade that turret that was farther away. But yeah, I think that mindset was wrong. I think I should have just upgraded that turret, to be honest. But yeah, I see he has mostly just Marines here, so I figure if I can take it out with the chopper, that would make my chopper's life a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm waiting on that suicide grunt to still show up. And I'm kind of at a dilemma of what I should do, because I know he's aiming me down, obviously, with the flamethrowers, but if I run away, then he's just going to aim my turrets down. So I really didn't want that, which is why I was just sacking them. But like, you can see how much damage. I think he even had heavy metal. I'm not sure if it wore off, but suicide grunts are just so freaking strong. Like, one suicide grunt will pretty much red bar 5 or 6 Marines. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like you see, just even that one suicide grunt. And he's already been pushed off by basically just 2 suicide grunts, which is, if you want my opinion, that's like absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going ahead and queuing up some more choppers so that I can try and fight for some hook control. I know that I could also be building grunts, but I figure that going choppers is going to be safer because, like you just saw there, he has a sniper. And he probably knows that I'm going to need to go Elite Rangers, because that's something that normally you'll end up doing, because you need to try and counter the infantry, and if you just go, say, straight Locust, then Cyclops can be a real pain. And, oh, yeah, Cyclops, Hornets. So, at least with the Rangers, you're helping to try and negate one of those two. What I need to be doing also is potentially trying to get an Expo. I think I have 2 generators, as you saw there. And another reason, by the way, I made these choppers, and I just remembered. Not only did I want to, try and contest for nodes if he was potentially going for them, or if I could see an opportunity, but I also wanted them to try and scout, because I really wanted to know what he was doing. Because if he's going heavy infantry, or if he's going heavy Hornets, that would be really nice to know, because, I mean, you want to try and throw Reavers into your army regardless, because, well, it's just going to be helpful in general, because, they can detect. So if the enemy tries to use some sort of cloaking with the Nightling Gale, you can detect that at least. But other than that, I mean, just having them for killing the enemy's Nightling Gales and for killing their Hornets, it's just a nice thing to have in general. Especially because, Locust, that's the one of the things they can't actually kill. So, I'm rather low on money, but I honestly don't feel like saving up so much yet, because I really feel that I need troops out, because I'm not sure how big he's coming, because, I just scouted him, and he's still not upgraded to Tech 2 yet, which tells me that he's really building up an army. Yeah, I'm trying to move down now because I see he hasn't pushed, and I figure that at least can give me an opportunity to try and move down a little bit. Have my choppers still scouting around where I can. I honestly should have sent that grunt in to try and cap that node. Maybe I just didn't see it. Something else I need to be checking. I haven't looked into it so much, but the tier on Rangers and just infantry in general, how good it actually is. I don't really know exactly. I personally prefer just getting mass Rangers out. But again, like, I mean, if this is what's mainline, I really should look into more whether it's better to get more out faster or not. I probably could put that other leader point I have into whatever the first leader point is that you can get at the start. The one with the skull. Yeah, Killing Frenzy, right. Yeah, something else I could have done, by the way, whenever he rushed me, and I didn't think of it at the time, is that vortex. That thing is so strong, and I've mentioned it before, but using that is just so good on infantry. You can basically red bar probably 4 or 5 infantry units with that thing, and that would have been really, really helpful against his rush. I'm not sure how useful it would have been against the heavy metal. But even so, like, assuming it wears off, then I could have used it at that point. But yeah, I see he has his units mostly up on that mini base of mine, so I figure I'm going to push in with my troops and try and just go and take out this mini base and maybe think about pushing to the middle. I figure if I could manage to secure the middle up on the higher ground, then I should be in a really, really good spot, because it's either this point or next point I get teleport, And I think that's extremely important for unsc to try and make something happen before they get teleport, because if the Covenant manages to get teleport, then they basically have one free engagement with you. And what I mean is they can engage you, and of course you're going to want to try and rush them down, but of course they're going to try and, you know, stay away from you or stay at a distance, and if they do manage to close the distance, you can just teleport away. And again, like I said, that's basically a free engagement for them. They should be able to get some decent kills, not necessarily because of the Locust, but those Rangers, they do massive damage. And since as unsc you're generally going to be going infantry, that's a really big deal. So I'm just trying to clear out nodes. I'm sending some guys back to defend my mini base. See, he has a sniper there. You see, I have that one perk up for that Ranger, which is honestly just really good. I mean, when you combine all of these health upgrades and just attack upgrades that the units get from Decimus, it's honestly kind of overwhelming, if you ask me at least. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to be able to save that mini base. I'm trying to cap the nodes. He almost managed to drop that one, but not quite. And at this point, I'm starting to think about pushes in certain spots because, yeah, I'm sitting at basically max pop for regular pop, and well, yeah, at this point, this is really just when you should be trying to make a push happen. I go ahead and queue up my leader. I'm not sure how useful he actually is. I was mostly doing it just to test him out. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be a bad thing because it's basically a free pop unit, and since I don't have reinforcements yet, it's, you know, it's, like I said, it's going to be a free pop unit, and it's not like he's necessarily weak. So I'm destroying these mini bases, and now I'm going to try and go around to the high ground, because in my opinion, the weakest base, and I've been debating it on this map for a while, I feel the weakest base could be the one, not the one between me and my enemy's base, but the other one that's kind of on, I don't know, I don't even know what direction that'd be. Maybe the east part of the map, if north is the way I'm seeing it on that mini-map. And the reason is because it has that giant hill, and the reason I grabbed it on my side, and I thought that was the better option, is because considering who I'm fighting a unsc, I figured that grabbing the one on that side would be better, because unsc is generally going to try and rush straight at you, whereas Covenant's more of a, I'm better because I can outmaneuver you, and I'm trying to use the ledge for that in that case. But, or for, as I'm going on his side, but for my side, I'm more of looking at it as it's further away from his base, so he's going to have to take a little longer to actually get to it, to take it down. See, I'm grabbing my triple now, because, I mean, I'm sitting pretty decently on pop. I do have reinforcements 1 now. And I'm going to look for a push here. I wanted to wait for this mini base to finish so I could queue a foundry, so that I could start to get reinforcements coming in as they finish. And I figure at this point I have enough. I look and make sure that I can have teleport ready. I actually go ahead and get it. I always like to save that point, actually, because you never know exactly what the engagement's going to call for. So you don't necessarily need to spend the point. But yeah, I checked that base and I saw he didn't have it, which made me rather happy. Just because he's Forge and I wasn't sure how strong his economy was going to be at this point. But yeah, I'm going to grab those 2 mini bases. I'm coming in to check to see if he has this, and he doesn't, so I guess I'm just going to, yeah, grab it. And at this point, I'm just going to regroup my troops and get ready to head down for his expansion base. At least I think that's what I'm going to go for. So, one thing off topic I just wanted to bring up real quick is I'm playing Decimus this game, and at least from what I had seen in the community, he's kind of regarded as the best in general. But I've heard that some people also prefer Atriox and say that he's really good, so I may try playing some Atriox games as well. I mean, I did main him, more or less, in Season 1, so I can definitely see it. But I'm not totally sure, because it's just, when you have Vortex, that seems like such a strong ability. I mean, you compare Vortex to Bulwark, and I think I would prefer Vortex just because it seems more flexible than Bulwark. Not to say that Bulwark isn't flexible, it's just I think I would like, personally, to have Vortex. Although, fortifications, it seems like a really interesting point, and I'm wondering if you would be able to get a very quick base with fortifications 1 and 2 to try to outproduce your opponent. I could see that as being a potential option if there's enough time to actually make it work. So I'll be trying out some Atriox games as well in the future. Yeah, see, he's coming in with his troops here, so I'm going to try and push up. Honestly, if I just went straight up, it probably would have been best. I actually wait, and I think this is really dumb of me. Like, I try to go around the long way to his main, because I figured that'd be better, but honestly, just considering where he is, just pushing straight up might have been better. Or even just going after that army itself, because he has some troops at his base, and his whole army wouldn't be there. I go ahead and just do the teleport, not to use it, but I just wanted to check to see what I could cover with it. And I see he has some Kodiaks here, so of course I'm assuming those are starred, because, you know, Forge has that ability. So I'm coming in here, I'm assuming that he's going to be coming back with his troops, and since I see he has these 3 Grizzlies, I figure I should get out of there. And I go to try and use it, and it doesn't select for me. So I end up losing way more troops than I really should have. Like you can see here, I probably get about maybe a third of my army out, but that was honestly really sloppy play by me to mess up that teleport. And now I'm basically on defense, because since most of my army ended up dying, I'm going to have to try and regroup my forces. I'm not so afraid, because I am on a triple, and I mean, I still do think my army, at least once I actually get it back, is going to be better than his. See, I actually go ahead and get a second raid camp just because I want to produce faster. But honestly, I should have started walking those troops you see right there. I should have started walking them back sooner. One thing, by the way, that I do have going for me is that the Forge army, in general, is really slow. If he had teleport, or, well, not teleport, transport, I think that would have been extremely helpful for him. Just because, again, like, his army's really slow. Even though he has the ability to counterattack, it's going to take a long time for him to actually get his army up there. And I'm going to do my best to try and get back to defend to take advantage of his slow army. Something I actually decided to do is come down behind him, because I assume he's going to have units lagging behind, and I see he has those Kodiaks, so I'm going to go ahead and try and take the opportunity to aim those Kodiaks down, because that's basically free kills that I could get that could be reinforcing. I see he has more. So that's something I guess my opponent could have done better, trying to defend them. I guess he just wanted to try and get up there as soon as he could to try and make a hit. I can understand that, but it seems like it was a little bit risky. And again here, like, and this was true even for Season 1. I really liked Grizzlies whenever I mained Forge, but the biggest problem I noticed with him is that Locusts just kind of outrange you, and even with the reduced speed of the Locusts now, like, they're still honestly just too good, in my opinion, because, like, Grizzlies, they're just so slow. They're just so slow, and I mean, I guess I understand why that needs to be the case, because if you had fast Grizzlies, that'd be kind of scary, but I mean, they're just not able to fight for their range. They just can't compete. And you see, I'm just picking them off one after another because the range of these Locusts is ridiculous. Honestly, and I know this is like, it's only been 4 days or something since Season 2 came out, but I think Locusts really need a nerf in the range department, because like, they can just outrange anything, even if their damage isn't that high. If you can just outrange your opponent, then they can't ever really manage to kill you. Like, I have Rangers to deal with any Cyclops trying to rush me down, and bulky units like the Grizzly just are way too slow to make anything happen. Like you see, he pushed up with a rather big army, but he wasn't really able to fight me so much. I'm finally getting reinforcements too. It took, honestly, way too long. I'm going to try and push up again here. I had 2 points I could spend. I Guess I'm gonna get the Decimus drop, maybe, or no Siphon. Okay, the Siphon's fine too. The Siphon ability I think is just extremely good. I mean, it's similar to, you know, a Bulwark or whatnot, but or any just regular heal, but I think it's just interesting that it applies to your units, meaning that you don't necessarily have to stay restricted to one area with other heals. With Siphon, you can actually move your army around, which I think is a nice bonus or benefit to have. But yeah, you see I have all 4 power nodes. I have 120 pop unlocked now. I'm going to go ahead and try and queue up some more troops. I'm actually getting a lot of upgrades right now with the extra power that I had, so can't actually make a whole lot of use of them in the immediate, but I have max pop at least queued up. I'm going to try and go in for a push again. I think my mindset here was that he may have re-grabbed the base, his triple, or he may have grabbed it at this point, so that's why I'm heading this way again. Because I figure, if anything, that's going to be the weakest base. I could have also headed for his first expo, because that probably would have been a rather easy target, but again, I just wanted to go for this because I thought this would have been easier to drop if he had it. And I see he doesn't have it. I go ahead and queue it. I honestly don't think I should have even kept it. I don't know why I keep queuing bases like that, even though it's pretty risky to hold them. I guess it's okay here because I just have so much money, and if I can manage to get that base up, then I could produce, you know, stuff from it. But earlier on, like you see, I'm even queuing bases earlier on. I think that's honestly too much. I go ahead and try and send that Locust to the back and the Wraith to the front, because I don't want his turrets hitting the Locust if I can afford it. So I'm pushing in here. I see he has some Grizzlies, and I see he has Hornets, and this is something I basically forgot to do. See, if you look, I even checked my pop there. I actually didn't have any Reavers in my army, and I realized he has Hornets and Nightingales, so I'm pretty much trying to optimize my army at this point to get some Rangers out. Or not Rangers, Reavers out. So I can try and, you know, actually stand against his Hornets. I do manage to get this base up. Honestly, I put supply pads, and I guess that's okay, but I probably just should have put actual buildings like raid camps or foundries or something. I mean, I know it doesn't matter here, because it's obvious the base is going to be in peril, but still, like, I think that would have been a better option. I'm going to try and outrange him a little bit here. See, he drops a scatter bomb, so I'm going to just try and split my army in a way that'll be the most optimal for just getting out of the ring. And, I mean, again, this is, I think, one of Forge's big problems. I actually think that Forge is one of the worst leaders against Covenant in the late game, just because he doesn't have any really great drops. All of his units are really slow, and he doesn't have any good, like, actual leader abilities. Like, he has the scatter bomb, which is okay, but that's really all he has. You compare that to Cutter with his gunship and all of his drops, for example, and there's such a big difference. So yeah, I have my pop queued back up. I've made some Reapers now, so I think I can actually fight his army more directly. And yeah, I'm basically coming in at this point to try and go for his expo. I believe I had dropped his main. Yeah, and he's trying to go in for a counter push because I guess he thought maybe that was his only option. Figures he pushed me off, and I did drop his base, so I guess he assumed he couldn't hold. So I'm at this point just going to come in and try and go for his expansion, or what is now his main, and going for a base tree, because I figure, like, with his army being so slow, it's just going to take way too long for him to be able to make anything happen. So yeah, just destroy the turrets first, and then I start aiming main. And you can see, like, that base wasn't even a fully developed base that I had, but I still managed to drop his base before he dropped mine, and it just goes to show again, like, I do think that Forge is actually one of the worst leaders. I think just behind Isabel. Or, no, just ahead of Isabel, rather. Sorry, Isabel. But, yeah, like, I've pretty much secured all the bases on this side. I go ahead and queue the teleport just to see how far I could bring it, but I see it's not going to be enough, and I'm going to have to walk the whole way up. But that pretty much wraps up this game. Like I said, I'm still rather new to Decimus. I still think I have a lot of learning to do with him. But I do enjoy him as a leader, and I'm probably going to play him a lot more. Like I said, I'll probably look at Atriox as well, because I think he's also an interesting leader. But I'll probably stick with mainly Decimus for now, because I think he's... I mean, well, he's said to be a better option, and I do like him a lot as well, so... yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be hopefully posting more in the future now that I actually have a leader that I have some faith in again. And I will see you guys in another one. Take care.